Okay, yes, you're looking at a carpet. And you're looking at a Class 3. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to clock an axle. Now, I've already clocked these axles. I've clocked the back one. You can see kind of how the back one leans. What I'm talking about leaning is the tire leans over a bit. As you can kind of see here, the tire kind of has a bit of a lean to them, right? Now if you look at the front ones, there's not much lean at all. It's pretty much straight up and down, a little bit. Well, we're going to clock an axle, and it's not going to cost us a penny. I'm going to show you how to do that. Clocking it is moving the C-hubs, clocking the C-hubs back, turning the C-hubs back. That allows the tire to kind of curve on its side a bit, allowing the side of the tire to grip a bit, allowing you to get around things like shock shafts, as you can see in the back there. Allows me to totally get around those, and allows me to curve underneath my lower link a bit too. I don't know if you can kind of see that. It would help if I put the camera there instead of just looking. It's a really easy mod to do. Doesn't cost a penny, but if anybody knows me, I like steering, and my trucks do steer. So we're going to be doing it on this axle. You can do it on any axle that's pretty much has, as far as I know, an axial type of C-hub. This is a Boone Racing axle. Has a Classy Cut Customs servo mount, right? But you can do them on regular ones. I've done them on that axle with the deluxe mount. It's all right there. And I've done them on a stock axle. Right? It doesn't matter what you're doing it on. But as you can see, if you look at the top of the axle, you see how these C-hubs are tilted quite back in relation to the top of the axle. That's what we're going to do. We're going to clock the axles back. Okay, so welcome to my nice messy workbench. Yeah, it's usually like this. So what we're doing right now tonight, we have an axle here that we're clocking, right? I've already clocked one side. I don't know if you can kind of see in relation to it. Let's see if it likes to focus on us. You see in the relation to this pin and this pin how this one is turned back, and that's what I call clocking. I'm definitely not the first person to invent this. The crawler guys have been doing this for years. Matter of fact, Bob Solitaire was the one who showed me how to do it, and I've been doing it ever since. So what we're going to do here is I am going to loosen up, take my C-hub off, right? It's generally just 2 screws. You'll notice when I put these back on that I'm not a big person to thread lock. I tend to strip my screws. So it sounds silly, but I use nail polish as a bit of a thread lock. It's not as strong as thread lock, but it helps secure the bolt in. So all I'm doing now is separating, taking the C-hub out, right? I want the whole thing to come right out. This just goes to the side. Don't need it. So now, what we're doing here is we're going to be elongating these holes. You know, on your C-hub you have kind of like a slider hole. Well, we're going to lengthen that slider hole. We're going to lengthen on the top forward. We're going to lengthen it, and on the bottom we're going to lengthen it back. So essentially here I'm going to draw a marker so you can see where I'm going to be drilling to. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. I put a little black marker there. You probably can't, but hopefully you can. And all I'm going to do is elongate that hole. I'm going to make this hole longer. That way I can tilt and clock the axle back. It's a fairly simple process. It doesn't cost any money, but it can give you great amounts of steering. As most people know with my rigs, I love steering. To the point where you can actually go too far, and you'll know because your axle, your drive shaft will start to bend here. So, and in that case I recommend, you know, don't do full throttle in a steer. I've worn down many of axles. I'm just putting the bearing back into the axle housing because I don't need it. Okay, so I got my C-hub right here. I don't know if you can see the black marks on it, right? And I'm just going to, it's real simple. You don't need high tools, just Dremel or drill or a Dremel, whatever works. Find a screw bit or drill bit that's approximately the size of a screw, if not just a tad bigger. And basically where you see those little lines is where I'm going to be drilling into. Now all I'm doing is just holding the drill inside that elongated slot, right? And I'm just bringing it forward. It takes a bit to get it fully seated in. So as I do it, I'm moving the C-hub back and forth just to get rid of some metal. And already I can see I've done, in that amount of time, I've lengthened it about a 1/16 of an inch. So once I do one side, I do the other side, get that started in. Oop, watch your fingers. Okay, make sure I got both sides. Okay, so we now have both sides that are started. So essentially I can stick my drill bit right through this, right? And I can hold this and just gently press. You don't want to press too hard, you'll break your drill bit. Yes, I've done that. Just enough to get yourself some elongation. You just want to keep yourself roughly straight. So I look at it as I'm doing it and do little bits at a time. Then you take a look at it. What I'm looking for is to make sure I got the hole straight, and if I'm finding I'm getting off of center, I will just elongate some more by hand on each individual one. Am I still recording? Okay, I am. Good. And I go back and forth on both of them. What I'm trying to do is get about another, I guess, an 2/8 of an inch expansion on it. Why is my screen dull? Is there a reason why my screen's dull? Am I still recording? Okay, so we're back. Excuse me, I kind of screwed up my camera here. I really need like 4 mods or something. I don't know how he does it, but he's like a master at this camera crap. So we're back to drilling this out here. Yeah, my drill's kind of dead on the battery. But we're almost have enough there. So now I'm that I'm back in line, I can put both of them on again. You can see basically you're just holding it right through, right? And lining it up, and away I go. Okay, so now I'm going to test fit it. What I mean by test fitting it, let's see if we can't get the camera to give it a little better angle here. Excuse me guys, sorry, yeah, pardon me, yeah, Okay, so what I'm doing here now is I have my axle, right? Let's get me a little farther back. Okay, so I have my axle here. Now you can see in relation to this, to the top part of the shaft, how far tilted back this one is. Let's see. So my goal is to get the other one the same way. It's really not that hard. This is a free mod. It's just takes a little bit of tweaking. So what I'm looking for is to see that they're lined up. That this one and this one are in the same line. And right now I am just need a bit more done. Just need to trim a bit more off of this. And you're not ruining your C-hub, guys. There's plenty of metal there to work with, and it's a really handy thing, right? So all I'm doing is okay. Let's try it again here, right? Hopefully the light's a little better now. And I'm just, let's see. Nope. So I need to be right there. So I need to go about another 1/16 more, I'm noticing. Like on this one, compared to this one, I need to just do a bit more. So we're just going to grind in here. Come on, drill, don't die now. Okay, so we're going to test it again here. And yeah, I still need to go more. I knew I should have charged this drill. Would have made more sense, wouldn't it? Okay, now that we got all the filings all over, we'll test it again. That is one notch. If you look at it, it's close. It's right there. It's right there. Camera. But not quite yet. So it's very close. Very close. So just a bit more. If you find you do this and you make the holes kind of oblonged, just put a little screw, a little washer there, and it'll be fine. Okay, hopefully last time's a charm, huh? Bingo! Now if I look, they're both in line. You can kind of see, no you can't, I'm just wiggling the camera around for the hell of it. But as you can see, the angle here now is quite a bit drastic. So when I tilt, I can have a pinion that's tilted up a bit, and I still have the regular steering, or I can have my regular level pinion, and my steering is going to be quite a bit more drastic. It's going to tilt that tire over. And I'm going to put this together and I'll show you what I mean here. I always pre-assemble the outer C-hub and knuckle first before I do any screwing in case there's any adjustments I need to make. Like stuff falling out, and it's only because it's on camera, you know. I blame it on the camera for everything. Come on. Okay. What am I doing wrong here? Am I hitting... I'm hitting screws. Okay, so that's a simple fix. Undo the screws. You could do this for a SCX10 axle, the old versions with the XR mod, or a Wraith axle in the AR60. They both work just fine doing it. But what it does is it just gives you steering. And anybody who's ran with me has noticed the steering in my trucks and noticed how obsessed I am with steering. It's just, I have obsessions, I have issues. What can I say? So I'm going to put that top hat back in. Sorry guys, you can't quite see this. It's nothing really you want to see, it's just me putting a top hat back in a hole. What is this? You never get something in the hole. It's just not cool. Okay, so I'll slide this guy, make sure I have a bearing in. See what happens when I do stuff on video. It just doesn't always work out. And then I put stuff in backwards, and you know. But what I wanted to show you guys here is you could do things to your truck that's free. It doesn't cost anything. And it's just extra tuning, extra stuff that gives you that little bit of more of this, a little bit of more of that, and benefits you. And my sake, it's just, there we go, nice and locked in. I just had to stop trying to do everything at once here. So now that I wasted about 5 minutes of your guys' time, if not more, just getting a knuckle on, you can see how much more clocked that is, how much more these are tilted. And that tilting is really going to turn your tire from, let's just see, when both tires do this and turn perfectly straight, and you side hill, you're actually leaning on your tire. If you have them clocked, when you turn, they're actually doing this and turning on their sides. Therefore, when you lean over, you're hitting the most contact patch possible. So, as if anybody's asking, like, I guess what a reference of this name is, it's clocking the axles backwards. And again, nail polish. Don't go steal your wife's, whatever it is, Maybelline or whatever. You just go to the dollar store. Pick up some nail polish. It's not going to hold as much as thread lock, but it is going to allow you to release that screw, so you're not going to strip the screw head, which I imagine most of us have done. And you get to pick fancy colors, like I picked this one. I don't like orange, but I'm a Chevy guy, so Chevy orange. I just went with that. Made me feel a little more manly. So okay, we're almost at the buttoned up stage here. And voila. Now I still have to put in these screws here, obviously, right, on the top and bottom, back in. But I can look and I can see the hole. Hole lines up fine. But what this is going to do here is now you see the relation to the axle. Sorry for my thing. You see how much more clock turned back this is? Well, that's just going to tilt your tire that much more. So now you're going to get a few more degrees that your tire is going to tilt underneath your link. You know how your tires usually hit your link? Well, this will allow a few more degrees for your tire to slide under. And will allow the side of your tire on the corner to give you grip and pull you around. At least in my opinion. It's a simple, easy mod to do. It's just elongating a hole, top and bottom, and then turning the C-hub back. It's free. It helps. Try it. Or don't try it. Call me a loser. I don't care. And that's it. You're done with hearing me babble. Have a good night.